be attending these sessions before. She is a clinical psychologist, and we will also be having her scientific opinion about this particular topic. So you also get an idea as to how non-scientific part works and how the scientific part works. So you get both the exposures in this session. Now, for the people who are new here, I'll just give you a 2-minute introduction as to what we are doing and what our club is all about. Living Life is something which was started by Mr. Rahul Jain around 14 years back, and since then he has been working in different formats, going to schools, colleges, corporates, NGOs, and many other institutions to deliver motivational life skills and communication skills seminars. This particular initiative of having a Tuesday session on inspiring series and a Saturday session which goes for impromptu speaking or express out. These are the 2 series which we have started now, and we are doing it from last 3 weeks. We have already covered sessions on confidence, happiness, and passion. We will be repeating these sessions after a particular slot is over, so all the people who have missed on it can come and attend it then. So you are not missing out on something which would not happen ever again. It's not like golden words that we can't repeat. So once you get in hang of how all this works, you would be much more comfortable. Before that, I would request each one of you to, when you enter this particular session, please stay out of a mindset that this is not for me. Many people just come and attend and they feel that, okay, let's see what it is all about. Maybe it's not for me, but I have nothing to do, so let's attend it. But this particular session is for each one of you. This session is not about only depression. When it comes to, that's why the name we have not kept as depression. The name says, is your mind full or are you mindful? Which means, are you mindful in your life? Are you thinking about what you want in your life? Are you going on the right track? And are you really realizing whether everything which is going on in your life is good for you? Or is your mind full? Clearly states, are you already stuck up in your mind with taboos, with situations, with feelings, which you're not able to take out on anybody else, which you're not able to express, which you're not able to vent out, which you're not able to understand maybe. And that does not mean that it is depression. So after seeing so many posts on Sushant Singh Sharma, I think most of you might be assuming that this session is all about depression and suicide is what we are going to talk about. So let me tell you, this is something very different. This is something where I'll be sharing experience of my own life as well, as to what are the different states which a person goes through before leading to being that super depressed, into being into that zone where they go for a thing like a suicide or ending up their life. But there's always a start to it. Where does it start is what we need to understand. And where can we put a comma or a full stop is what we are going to learn here. First thing what I want to ask is you can please write it on the chat, or you can just raise hand and let me know. My idea of this program was that I wanted to speak in Hindi as well. Although I'm pretty comfortable with English as a language, but I connect more to these kind of things when I'm speaking in my native language. So if all of you understand Hindi, we will be converting everything into English as well, because Rahul will be putting down all the points. Once the whole thing is done, once the whole session is done, he will also be putting all the points in English as well. I will not be using Shuddha, that North Indian Hindi. It will be a mix of English and Hindi. But it's just for you. I mean, if all of you understand it, then I'll go about it. If not, then I'll go with English. So if all of you can just, if there's anybody who does not understand Hindi, can please raise your hand. Rahul, can you please check as you're the host?
Yeah, I'm just, if anybody is not comfortable with Hindi, please raise your hand. Okay, we have Soumya who's raised her hand. Are you not comfortable, Soumya?
Soumya, can you please unmute and tell us the language you're comfortable with?
Or only English? We are okay with that, no issues.
Okay, no problem, Soumya. Can you please unmute your video once, Soumya, audio once, so that I can just understand as to how much you would understand Hindi?
Soumya?
I think she's not around or something.
No, she is. She raised her hand, so she should be around, I guess. That's okay. I think
no problem. I think other than that, everybody is comfortable with Hindi, right? It won't be pure Hindi. It will be a mix of Hindi and English.
I think we can proceed with that. Just that make sure, like you've already told, that it won't be pure Hindi. So you can just try to mix it up. Okay?
Yeah. That's what I am going to do. And if anybody of you have any ideas in between, you can please keep posting it on chat. So we will try to take as many queries or whatever ideas that we can. So as I start this particular session, there is some beautiful song which comes to my mind, which is quite old, I suppose. But it says, "तुम इतना जो मुस्कुरा रहे हो, क्या गम है जिसको छुपा रहे हो? आंखों में हंसी है, आंखों में नमी है, हंसी लबों पर, क्या हाल है, क्या दिखा रहे हो?" And this is something which I think everybody who's going through a bad time does. When somebody comes and asks us, "How are you?" the most common answer we give is, "I'm good, I'm fine." "How's everything going?" "Oh, it's awesome, everything is set." But I have a query. Is it something which you're trying to tell to them? Or is it something which you want your mind to know? These are two different things. But what normally happens is we are breaking into pieces in our heart, but we still try to portray a beautiful picture in front of people who are around us. We don't want to reach out to them for anything. We don't want them to judge us. And at times we feel that, in Hindi we say, "Ye samjhenge nahi." The most common problem which people face. Today when I was reading something, a very beautiful dialogue came in front of me. Never say that I am there. Always say, "I'm here." Most of the times, when anything happens and a person is depressed and they go on a wrong path, they commit suicide, or they're taking pills or things like those, we say, "You could have reached me, why didn't you do it?" But my question is, did we reach that person? How many times does this happen, that a person who's smiling, have you ever dig deep into that person's eyes and try to understand what he's going through really? Or are you somebody who's just into it, that you have seen a smile and it's done? I think most of us are in that category. Now, what we need to understand is, what are the reasons that people face these problems? As we say, our mind is something that can create heaven out of hell and hell out of heaven. I think most of us do it for different reasons. Sometimes we overburden ourselves with unintended responsibilities, expectations, beliefs, or just that we feel that if we don't do anything, nothing will happen in this whole world. A very simple example can be taken as a female in the family. Why I'm taking this example is quite simple, because I have gone through this state of depression, of a state to reaching up to a level that I wanted to end everything up, not finding a solution as to what is to be done. Why is this happening in my life? And this is something which most of us question. But do we really intend to find an answer to it? Maybe some of us do. That's why you all are here today, attending this particular session, to know answers to your questions. There are a few particular reasons which I came across, because of which we get into this loop of demotivating ourselves, devaluing ourselves, and feeling that life is not worth. Maybe it's not what, maybe I'm not supposed to live anymore. Or maybe I'm just not happy inside. Maybe the smile is not real. Few of the reasons for this is, first reason which I found when I was in my degree college was connection. I had friends, I had people around me, I had so many people surrounding me in my college, in my hostel, when I went outside, in my family. But when I was low, when I had a problem, when I could not fight it, not even a single name came in my mind that I can just go and vent out what's there. Person who would not judge me. Maybe I was not even looking for answers then. Maybe I was not looking for solutions. Anything which I was looking for was, can you listen of what I'm going through? This is the first barrier which I found, because of which people go deep into this situation. This starts somewhere around our teenage at times, sometimes when we are kids, sometimes when we have crossed an age of 25, 30, or maybe longer. Till the time we are in the golden period of our life, we have our colleges, degrees, everything. We don't focus at times on these things. Some do, some don't. At times we go to these friends whom we hang around with all day, but we just can't speak. Even if we do, the reaction we'll get would be quite simple. Let's go for a coffee. What's, why are you feeling so low? It's what's depression? Our generation don't get it. We have all fun and everything. Let's go for a coffee. But does that coffee really solve it? Does that call to your mom, or at times call to anybody whom you feel is close to you, really solve it if you're not able to vent out? 2,000 Facebook friends and not even one to lean back on. Is that the life we are looking for? Now when Sushant Sharma is not there, we are seeing so many posts on the pages, on Instagram handles, and so many places. But was there even one person then who could have heard him, understood him, or taken him out of it? What I felt after all this was, it doesn't matter how many people you have on your Facebook. But what matters is how many people would be face to face with you when you're low, when you just want to give up. Will they be there to take you up? Another situation came when I was almost in my MBA. This one is my favorite. Acting normal. The most favorite part, which all of us are pretending to do. Whatsoever happens, you're supposed to behave normal. Especially in our culture, how we are brought up is quite simple. Boys are not supposed to cry. You're supposed to be strong. You're supposed to be, supporting your family. You can't lean back, and so many things. Whereas on the other hand, the girls are taught, even if you have some tensions, please don't go and share it with everybody around. Sit back in your room and cry if you want to. But why? Why is my question? Why can't boys cry? Why can't I go to somebody else and tell that I'm facing it and I'm not able to control it? I'm not able to take it anymore. I am fed up of my responsibilities at times. I just want to leave everything and run away. But why, as women and men, we have been brought into a box which is closed enough that our sound of inside should not go out? And we are victims of acting normal, is what I say it. Why can't we be sad when we are really sad? Why can't we cry on the road if I'm feeling like one? Why everything has to be confined in my own room, in my bathroom, or in the walls of my house? If I feel like venting it out, why not? Another thing which I felt was I was supposed to smile. As a newlywed, when I came to this house, I was supposed to smile. Whatever was going inside. But that's not how you're supposed to be. You want to cry, you want to be sad, you want to sit alone. Do once everybody is gone to their rooms. You have to go to office. You can't be sitting here and crying. You have so many tasks to do. You are the man of the house. Who will earn if you sit and cry? Smile now, come on, it's going to be normal. There's nothing big about it. But why is my question? Why would I smile when I don't feel like? Why can't I take my real feelings out when I want to vent them? Aren't we all living this kind of a life day in and day out, not understanding how to open up? Is this the kind of thing that we are looking for? As I came to this house, a very beautiful thing surrounded me, which was a perceived image and the roles I have to play as a daughter-in-law, as a wife, or maybe just, somebody, a member of the house. Why are we so overburdened with the expectations of a particular role? Why are there a designed rule for every role when I'm not able to take it? Why is that so? Why can't I just break out and break free of these shackles and be the real me? Why do I have to always wear a mask of a daughter-in-law, of a brother, of a father, of a son, a good person, something like that? When can I think about the person who's behind this mask and think what's happening to me? When can I do that? When I understood all these situations, what came into my mind was quite simple. Is this what I am going to carry throughout my life with me? There are people who are able to fight with these situations every single day, carrying these questions in their bag every single time, but still working in the same format. Something which is killing them deep inside, but still there's no way to do it. As it comes to understanding why all this happens, I would like to call upon Kirti, who is on the professional side of understanding how this people behavior works. Kirti is a clinical psychologist. I would request Kirti to please introduce herself, because I think I am nowhere to introduce her over here.
Thank you so much, Pragya, for firstly having this platform where all of us can share our views. And I would really like to congratulate Living Life that you have a beautiful platform. There are a lot of platforms I have been on, but it really depends on the kind of people and the kind of environment you're giving. And trust me, it's been hardly 4 to 5 meetings and I already feel like a family. And it's all because of your authentic self which you're presenting on screen. And I'm very sure all the participants are taking benefit from it. So firstly, congratulations, both of you. Secondly, I'll introduce myself. My name is Kirti Sharma. I'm based in Delhi. And I'm a counseling psychologist. And I come from a multidisciplinary background where I've studied science, then MBA, then I came on to psychology. So I have tried to integrate all, various streams all together. And I try to impart psychoeducation training in the simplest form, because usually I see a lot of people making difficult jargons out of it, and then we are not able to understand. So I have worked in several areas, which includes Tihar Jail, which is one of the biggest prison in Asia. Along with that, I've worked in communities, schools, colleges, spiritual organizations, and I feel very blessed to be a part of this beautiful profession where I also get to learn and grow. So that's a little introduction about myself. And should I share something about what exactly is mental health?
Yeah, go ahead, Kriti.
All right. So we have all seen the news recently, and it is very devastating to see such news surfacing everywhere. And one is Sushant's news, which we all are aware of. There are so many others, you know. I would not get deep into it because I see young audience also here. But I would like to shed some light on one more incident which happened in Delhi. This was an IRS officer who committed suicide because he was fearful that he may infect his family of corona. Uh, and of course, there is one more teenager who committed suicide because she could not bear the loss of her father. Why I'm stressing upon one or two such incidents is that mental health or any issue is irrespective of age, caste, creed, gender, place of your living, anything, and which phase you are in life. Also, I would want all of us to understand that we always struggle to get more marks in school, but that is intellectual quotient. But statistics tell us in life only 20% of your success depends upon your IQ, whereas 80%, which is a staggering number, depends upon your emotional quotient. You can probably take it in this form that if we have our emotional quotient in place, our IQ will function. Currently, we can see so many doctors working in hospitals day in, day out for all the patients. Their IQs are similar. Just imagine one doctor breaking down because he's not able to, manage everything. If his emotional state goes for a toss, his IQ won't even, it won't be of any benefit. We can probably look at it like that. Our life is full of struggles, but how we respond to it really makes the difference. And we have to understand that we can always rewire the way we are behaving, the way we are responding to situations. There are times that I have heard from people, हम तो ऐसे ही हैं, this is how we have been and no, we cannot change. So since I have a lot of nice diverse audience here, I would like to shed some light that if even if you are a 3-year-old kid or you are a 70, 80-year-old man, why are you thinking like this? And if I am like this, so what? If my nose is not aligned, so what? Will my friends not like me or what? Just keep questioning yourself why and so what? We have to prepare ourselves not only for success but also failures. Life is not always rosy, let's face it. But because of the culture that we live in, we put only our successes on social media. And whenever you talk about celebrities, or right now also when I was supposed to introduce myself, I only had could talk about my success. मुझे तभी तो भाव मिलता ना. अगर मैं अपने failures के बारे में बता देती तो शायद मुझे वो भाव नहीं मिलता. Right? So we have to also prepare ourselves for failures. And one very important thing for all of us is to understand we can create a safe space. And that safe space can comprise of people where you can be completely transparent. You don't have to fake your emotions. You don't have to be, wear a mask in front of them. And you just don't have to pretend. Create that safe space. And that safe space can even be this sort of a digital family, or blood relations, or friends. Anybody can be our social convoy or a safe space. Also, when we are in contact with our friends and families, we have to be very responsible. Like Pragya mentioned, there are times when our friends or our family members need our help, but we just tell them, hey, I am around, if you need me, let me know. But if we have an indication, if that person is already indicated that he or she needs help, be responsible. Try and take some extra steps for the person. If you're not able to do something, inform somebody else who can be of any help. That's very, very important, because a person who is in distress is not able to take his medicine. For example, I have fever, I don't have the capacity to go to the pharmacy shop and buy medicines for myself. So we have to be very, very responsible social convoy as well. And I would also like to emphasize on, please never shy away from taking help. Nobody is a self-made person. Nobody. People who portray themselves as being a very successful person or this and that, I'm a self-made person, they're not. Currently, right now, if you're talking to each other through this digital medium, there are so many people involved in even creating this gadget, this laptop, this phone, this internet, Wi-Fi, whatever we're using. We are all codependent, interdependent on each other. If we can take financial advice from somebody, and if we can go to a doctor if we have a headache, or we have broken our arm or something, it is as simple as seeking help when we are mentally unfit, right? And also, let us take some actions, preventive actions. We should not wait that some problem arises and tab dekh lenge. We have to mentally be very, very fit for whatever comes in our lives. तो जरूरी है कि हम एक प्रिवेंटिव और प्रोएक्टिव तरीके से हम अपनी जिंदगी में आगे बढ़े. वेट ना करें कि जब कुछ हो जाएगा फिर हम सोचेंगे कहाँ कुआं खोदना है. That's not the right approach. Also, I would like to add a few things which usually people miss on, and this is something which may not be available on Google, but I really want to take 2-3 more minutes to share this basic knowledge of formats which are there in psychology. This is important for all of us in a way that I don't see only 28 participants here. I see these 28 participants sharing this knowledge further if anybody needs. So I can see around 100, 150 right now. See, there are different formats. If self-help, counseling format where people having similar issues come on the same platform, and students who are suffering from a lot of stage related fear, they can come on the same platform and discuss how to go about it. The third format is the individual counseling, where a person is taken into account as an individual. So entire history is taken into account because we all are different. Our experiences are different. Even in one family, if they have like two children, there are a lot of differences even in the siblings, their experiences, their life. So we have to be, if we want to address a mental health issue, we have to focus on their subjectivity. So we can't give a general dose to everybody. If, for example, 50 people are having headache, we cannot give Saradon to everybody. The reason of headache can be different. So if we need help, please look into all these formats. And whenever we need help, first seek a counselor's help or a psychologist's help. Do not straight away go to a psychiatrist just because he has a doctor written in front of the name. What happens is, first, anything and everything can be solved by talk therapy. If there is any diagnosis required, if there is any ailment, then the psychologist will pull out the diagnosis and carry on the therapy, which is talk therapy. If the psychiatrist involvement is required, medicines are required, then we go to that step. What usually people do, because of lack of awareness, it is very commonly seen that we straight go to the psychiatrist because we think he's a doctor. So what happens is, psychiatrists, the kind of medicines they give, they prescribe medicines, but they may not give you adequate time for talk therapy. And there are a lot of issues which are resolvable through talk therapy also. And lastly, I get this question very commonly, that do counselors solve problem? My answer is no. They help you discover your own strength, your own whys, They will make the person understand why are you thinking like this? How can you better cope with the situation next time when it is faced? And you come up with your own answers. The counselors are basically facilitators, and they would equip you to be a stronger version of yourself so that whenever next you fall into any problem, you're able to solve your own problem. They would not be just spoon feeding a person. So these are few things I wanted to share, and I am keeping it short. If there are any questions or any particular things, please let me know. I will be very happy to help during the session or after the session. Thank you. Pragya, over to you.
Thank you, Kirti. That's why we call an topic expert is a topic expert. So that in depth, we can't go in that. Yeah, experiencing we can, but speaking we can't. One beautiful thing which I understood from Kirti's point is we don't in our society, हम लोग कहीं भी जाते हैं, if we tell them कि नहीं मुझे low feel हो रहा है या मैं परेशान हूँ, लोग बोलेंगे इसका दिमाग खराब हो रहा है, ये पागल हो गया है. That's how we have been built. कि इसलिए आधे लोग जाकर कुछ बोलना ही नहीं चाहते because they feel कि नहीं मुझे पागल समझेंगे. That's how it has been made. So one thing which when I went to my psychologist, as Kirti said, there was a very beautiful thing which she told me, and they were practical points and I tried applying them, which might help each one of us here. What she did was quite simple. पहले उन्होंने मुझसे बोला आपको क्या चीजें परेशान कर रही हैं वो एक पेपर पे लिखो. And this is some exercise which all of us I think can do. Kirti would be able to tell us much better, but this is something which all of us can do. So what she did was कि उन्होंने मुझे बोला कि आपको जो भी चीजें परेशान करती है, where you are feeling lost या आपको लग रहा है कि अब मैं इस बारे में और कुछ नहीं करना चाहती या जो भी, आप उन्हें एक पेपर पे लिखो. उसके बाद सेक्शंस बनाओ. For each section, you have to design one solution. So frankly, she was not doing much of the part other than taking the $500 for every session. But yes, this is something beautiful which she did. So for each problem, try to find out one solution कि अगर मैं ये करूँगी तो मैं इससे बाहर, this is what I want to do rather than what I am doing. So for example, अगर मुझे लगता है कि नहीं मैं पूरे टाइम घर में बैठी रहती हूँ, I'm not working, या फिर मैं मुझे जैसा काम पसंद है मैं वो नहीं कर पा रही हूँ. So I wrote a solution for that. That this is what I want to do. I want to go and spend my own time. I want a me time which is only for me. I don't want to dedicate it to anybody. There can be a problem where I was facing a tussle with my husband or my wife. Our viewpoints were not matching. We were fighting. There were issues at home. That was one of my tensions. What can I do about it was spend some time outside. She asked me to literally go out for a drive, go for a play, coffee, whatever you like. Spend that time with yourself so that you get the sanity of your mind. If you are seeing the same person as soon as he's back home or as soon as he's going to office, you will always keep going to the same tussles. So space is something which we can do. Space out with people whom we are not able to deal with or who are creating more stress to us. Similarly, what you can do is write out whatever is coming to your mind that this is something which I'm not able to fight. Try to write down a solution. Maybe you will not be getting something right now as such, but the solution would be what you want to do. That is the solution side. So if you are stuck in your old work, I wanted to be like JP Mishra ji here said, I wanted to be a jet fighter, those jet fighter or something. What can I do it now? I'm facing that depression. I'm out of my mind. I couldn't do what I wanted in my life. What can I do now is the solution. He searched for his, that I would write blogs about it. Similarly, write your problem, write your what you want thing. And I think this is something which is quite good to take you out of what you are into right now and work on it. Don't only write and frame it and keep it in front of you, because that's not going to help. Spend some time doing that. Another good ways is record what you're feeling if you're not able to express it to somebody else. That's something which helped me out. Maybe you can also try. What I used to do was when I was totally frustrated, I wanted to cry out and I wanted to talk to somebody, but there was nobody. I used to just switch on my phone, record whatever I wanted to blur out, just speak out, and then delete that audio later on. so that nobody else listens to it. So that's one way which I try doing it. You can try going out for drives. You can try going out for maybe reading or something else. But what works is quite simple. Don't stay in the same environment. That's not going to help, because that's what is creating the whole problem. Now, there's a very small exercise which I want all of you to do, as we do it in every session. I would just want all of you to switch on your videos once, please. Can all of you please switch on your videos? Just for 2 minutes. It's a very small exercise, but it's something which might help you out today. Right. I hope everybody is switching on. So the exercise is quite simple. This is what I apply when I go through really, really bad days. Many of you right now might be going through it. A loss of job, family member, maybe studies or things like those. Just do one thing. Close your eyes. First, what you have to do is think about the problems which you are facing right now. Be it your job, be it anything which you're facing. Maybe a broken marriage, maybe a tussle in the house, maybe something which you could have done better in your life, but you couldn't because of circumstances. Somebody just broke your heart. Or maybe it's just something you really don't know, but there's something which happened. Once you have thought about it, now let's understand it the other way around. Is all this more important than the person I am? Can these people really break me to this level? And if they're doing, why the hell am I giving this power to them? Why should I follow what they're asking me to do? I have my own thought processes, right? I can just think about what I want to do. I know my answers. I know my problems, but I know my answers. Who are these people who, rather than helping me, are trying to break me? I want to fight these people. I want them out of my decision processes. Maybe I can't just throw them out of my life, but they have nobody to decide for me. Once you have thought about it, if you have a pillow, if you have anything around you, hit it as hard as you would want to hit those situations. Just hit it. Just don't think about anything who's around, anybody who's around you. Just hit it as hard as you can. These are the people who are never going to keep you happy, or who are never going to let you go in happy situations. You can keep hitting them for the whole night. It's on you. How much fear, how much distress, how much sadness they have created. But do it. Take it out. Open your eyes now and feel the real person you are now after just taking it out. You can all open your eyes and feel the person you are now. This simple exercise of 2 minutes could make you understand who you are. You're not a puppet that somebody can just move the way they want to. You have body, you have blood, you have flesh, and all the more. You have that 1 gram thing, your brain. Mine is 1 gram. I don't know how much others can have, because I don't lie into the category of geniuses who are using more than 2%. But that's what you all are. Whenever anything which distresses you comes to your mind, just understand, go hit that pillow, break a glass, break a cup if you're angry on your mom or dad for something. My son does that. He's 6 and he does that. If he's angry, he wants to take his anger out, he'll take up my favorite cup and he'll just throw it and break it. And I'm quiet after that. Okay, he's deciding for himself. That's we all need to do. Decide for your happiness. Decide that you're nobody to design what I want to be. I hope this exercise could help you to some extent to understand yourself. Whenever you want, you can just keep doing this exercise and hitting that pillow, or if the person comes in front of you and you want to do, it's your choice. But due to criminal reasons, I would not want you to do that.
Pragya, I would like to I have a doubt actually. Can I just
Go ahead.
yeah, what if it's an abstract thought? Doesn't necessarily have to be a person. Just I'm just saying it. What if it's an abstract thought? In that case, what am I supposed to do? The thing that is bothering me, basically, it's not a person. It's just some random negative thoughts that are bothering me.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, what am I supposed to do? How to get rid of those negative thoughts? And this is in reference to the sorry.
Abstract, like can you give me an example? Is it some abstract?
Okay. Can we throw it inside the
I totally
dustbin?
support this thing when people tell go and listen to motivational people and all.
We can throw it.
Frankly, Rashmita, I don't think it works. Yeah, that can be one way, but I'm not sure how much it works for everybody, because for me, it doesn't work throwing into a dustbin. It keeps coming, like a magical, some paper which has supernatural powers, and it will fly out of the dustbin and come to my mind again.
Again, we have to keep on throwing. You have to control, and that's the same way the way we are doing the pillow.
Okay.
Again, come out. We have to keep on pushing. Then only it will go out.
I would like to barge in
dustbin.
here.
Sure.
There's something, we have Riyaz sir also asking, how do you know that you are not the person responsible for the situation? And also, blame game can be an endless circle of sadness and problems. So I have a different perspective here with regard to how we are looking at the situations. Like Shafat already asked, that if it's an abstract idea. The underlying point that we're talking of here is, how can we build a calmness within our own mind? One of the formats that Pragya is talking of is of taking it out in a format where you cannot deal with the other person. It's in a situation which rotates in your mind. Now, as like the point that you said, Shafat, be it, and if it's an abstract idea, many a times the reason why we get into that loop, like as an example, today we are in this COVID situation. We are constantly anxious. If someone sneezes by our side, we start getting this thought in our mind and the fears or anxiety in our mind that, is it COVID? And that is something which you are talking of, I believe, something which is abstract. Here, what we need to start working on is building a calm within ourselves. And that is the same thing I would say to the question that Riyaz sir is saying. Not every time is someone else responsible for the situations that you are in your mind. The fact is, we have to upgrade ourselves. We have to start thinking of what is it practically the challenge that we're facing. If it's not something external, we have to up our scale. Here, the two things which are important is, what is it that's in your control and what is it that's not in your control. The world of what you can control is somewhere lies between your 2 ears. That's what you can control sometimes. If you were to be infected with COVID anyways, you will be. But the fact is, what can I do about it is something which I have to be as acting as a precautionary measure, the basic measures that I have to be taking. But somewhere, if we keep pestering our mind with the fact that it can occur to me, you are further worsening the problem. Like I've always told in the previous sessions also, worry is the biggest problem here. Worry is rethinking the same aspects, the permutation combinations of something like a worst case scenario in your mind so strongly that if not that situation may not affect you. That situation might not become your reality, but your mind will be completely screwed up. And that's where we need to start upping our game, bringing in rationality of how we are thinking. Once Pragya is done, I'll go ahead with the things that I have in my mind with regard to sharing the inputs of how we can build or maintain our sanity, which Kirti has already mentioned a few points of those, of how we can have our mental health in a sane position and need not be waiting for an extreme situation of a suicide or situations where you're completely in a whirlpool of negative thoughts. I would go on with my inputs once Pragya and Kirti are done. That will be a very short tidbits with regard to what works for me personally. it could be different for everyone. So over to you, Pragya.
Yeah. One more thing which I would want to answer to Riyaz sir's question. How do we know whether it is our fault? I mean, is it because of us or because of somebody else? I think that was the question, right, Rahul?
Yeah.
So when it comes to understanding why anything bothers us, abstract or not abstract, what I feel is it is more about our perspectives towards things. It's more about whether we are trying to understand the other side of it or not. One example which I can give where I faced this issue was quite simple. People always keep, talking about it. There are jokes on tussles between a mom-in-law and a daughter-in-law. They are famous jokes, and they are so common. But what I understood out of this thing was quite simple. For almost 4 years, this thing always kept pestering in my mind that how can she say something to me? How can she have an outlook towards me? Or how can she behave in a particular manner? Why is she giving so much of stress or depression to me? That is my outlook then. But when I understood the real situation out of it, I was the only one who was getting affected because of the whole scenario. Why was it that others were not getting affected because of it? And that's when I understood that our thought process, our perspective towards things is something which creates the whole stress, not somebody else. At least 80 to 90% of the times, how much we are taking inside us. Do we really listen to people? There are two types of people. Suppose there's somebody who's going on the road, he might just shout at you about something. Will you really bother that much? Some people do. They will start and they'll bang on with the fight. But others don't. They don't even care. Haan yaar, kaun hai apne ko kya karna hai? That's the common reaction that people have about it. Whereas few will have, no, how dare he say, who is he? That's my question. Who's he? Why are you even bothering about it? So that's what we need to understand. Who are those people who really affect those situations, those abstract things which really affect us? Are they giving a positive mindset to us or negative? If it is about a negative mindset, what we need to first analyze it, are we creating it on our own? Giving that much importance to a particular topic, which doesn't even matter, which is breaking our sanity, our happiness, or which is something which is, getting us to a stage of a mental health, not somebody else. So do I really need to bother about this particular thing? A very good thing happened when I was taking a session for the kids. A kid of 13-year-old comes to me and asks, "Ma'am, I'm worried about death." I was shocked. Frankly, when I was counseling her, I was shocked. A 13-year-old writing to me that I am always scared of death. I don't know how I will deal with it if it comes to me or somebody close. And that is why I'm always sad about it. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to go close to them. And I don't want to meet anybody because of it. But was it it's an abstract thing, right? We can't change it. We can't do anything about it. It's totally out of our hands. But creating sadness, depression, and loneliness in a 13-year-old kid. That's what we need to understand. How much value are we giving to a particular thing? And is it affecting us so deeply that we are not able to fight that negative emotion that is coming? Although these thoughts keep coming to everybody's mind because we are human. We can only control 5 to 10% of our mind. But still, are these affecting us so badly? Do not always be into judgments as to it was my fault or his. Understand, if I let it in, deep inside, it's my fault after that. So break there, then and there. That's all you should do. Now, as we are done, Rahul, can we take few questions? And if somebody has something to share or went out or anything for another 5 minutes, and then we can go with your wrap-up remarks.
Sure. I think JP Mishra sir is raising your hand.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I have very simple questions. I have been told by a lot of people, like senior people, that forget and forgive, these two words solve majority of the psychological issue of anyone. I know it is very difficult, but if applied, it solves a lot of problem. I mean, that is my personal thing. But I'm asking to psychologists, both of you, that whether this thought process is a right thought process, it's a healthy process or not.
I would want Kirti to answer it first.
Sure. Thank you for the lovely question, JP Mishra sir. There are a lot of researches which have been done, and they very rightly prove that forgive and forget is a wonderful technique for somebody to overcome the past. However, at the same time, there is something known as PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. There, what happens is people are not able to ever overcome what has happened to them. It is basically a spectrum. So people lie in anywhere on that spectrum. There are some people who find it easy to forgive somebody and move on in life, probably if they have a very strong spiritual inclination. एक बहुत खूबसूरत मूवी आई थी रोशनी समथिंग, आई एम फॉरगेटिंग द एग्जैक्ट नेम. इट इज ऑल ऑन फॉरगिवनेस. ब्यूटीफुल मूवी. एट द सेम टाइम मैं आपको तिहाड़ जेल का अपना एक केस बताती हूँ. मैं एक मेंस जेल में काम करती थी, which was a 18 to 21-year-old men. There was one boy, I strongly remember his face and I could never forget this person. He gifted some gift to his girlfriend. The girlfriend said, I'm not taking it. He could not forgive her girlfriend. He killed the entire family. Entire family. You know, can you see the devastating effect it can cause onto somebody's mind? Forgive and forget is not really an easy technique to do. The psychological impact is good if we learn the lesson and let go of it. But if we hold on to it, it can lead to some other issues in life. Also, there are a lot of, for example, developmental issues are there. For example, a child not getting the right nurturing when that child was, say, 4 years old or something, he will subconsciously remember that throughout his life. So whatever we are going through, whatever experiences we are going through, it subconsciously stays inside of us. So forgive and forget is very, very deep, and it takes a lot of courage to do that. So yeah, there is basically a spectrum, I would say.
Okay.
And I think me and Rahul are on the extremes of this spectrum.
Okay, just a different perspective here. While Kirti has shared in the fact about the scientific side of it, on the personal side, where I'm not read too much about this aspect, but what I've always felt is that we need to consciously be wary of how every emotion is impacting us. And that's where I feel every emotion which is hurting us, we need to understand, we need to be in charge and get over that emotion, because that's what hurts us the most. Like emotions like regret, pain, or resentment with regard to or anger. Always see, when you see a kid or when you see ourselves, when I look back at the instances where I've been angered or responded in an anger or held on to my grudges or things like that, my own history, my own past teaches me a lesson of how, more than anything else, even getting that anger out of me, more than anything else, what has hurt me, that anger, that emotion has hurt me the most than anything else. Even a resolution of that, post the resolution of that, I get that feeling that it has hurt me the most. And that's where I feel that these emotions which are there, which act as a burden or act heavy on us, they are heavy on our hearts and they're heavy on our minds. They occupy us so engrossed in, we are completely lost in those, that we often have to understand, looking at our own past. Don't look at anyone else's example. Look at how your own past has been ruined because of holding on to these emotions. And that's where you can decide on your future. And that's where the conscious choices start working out in your decisions in for the future. That's where the forgive part comes in, for your own good, not for someone else.
Right. Can I please add one point here?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. So in psychology, we believe there is no negative or positive emotion as such. Emotions are emotions. If you look into anger, for example, like Pragya did a wonderful activity, there are ways we express anger. One is through words, onto somebody, on a person. Second is on the objects, we start breaking things. Third is there are people who suppress their anger. And they kill themselves from inside, basically. There are three forms how we express anger. Anger is a very natural emotion, but we have to understand where is that anger stemming from. If we go back in anger, it can be as simple as a feeling of loneliness, which can, become huge and then become anger. And if it is left unattended, it can convert into rage. So when we talk about anger, I think it is important to also acknowledge it as it is and try and understand where is it stemming from. Only then can we grow out of it. Yeah.
Okay.
One more thing.
Are we having challenges from Pragya's audio, or is it just me?
So it's not
This thing is
visible, sir.
for everybody
It's
as
breaking.
Kirti. Emotions. Mostly what happens. Am I not audible?
No, okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So one more thing which even Kirti has said, and having experienced depression to a deep levels, I would also say that it's a very important thing which most of us don't understand, that till the time we are not venting it out somewhere, it can be any format. People write daily diaries, people write letters and they tear them off, or they just write a mail to unknown people. There's so many formats with which we can follow. And we also have services wherein these services are specially for listening to you. We have clubs, we have services wherein
Hi, Pragya, your voice is breaking.
Your
We
voice
can't
is
hear
breaking
you.
out. Pragya, your voice is breaking
you
out.
can just call them anonymously and they out. So it is always important. Now can you all hear me?
Yeah, I think you can just switch off your video and say it, because I think there's some bandwidth
Okay,
issue
sure.
going on.
Now can you all hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. So as Katie said, and I was telling that there are different, till the time depression is one thing, till the time you are trying to take it out, there is no other possible solution that we can think of it. Till the time we are keeping it inside, it's not going to be sorted out any which ways. It just gets deeper and deeper and we get frustrated out of it. There are different formats which you all can follow to come out of this situation. One can be writing daily diaries. One can be writing just writing it on a paper and tearing it off. If you don't have people whom you can just go and tell it to. So that is a very good format. I follow this many a times if I'm not able to share it. And first start accepting that if you're not okay, it's okay to be not okay. You don't need to keep acting and pretending in front of people that I'm perfectly fine. Till the time you are opening up, till the time you're telling them I'm not fine and I'm okay this way, I don't need to be the way you want me to be, it's fine. Most of us don't accept it that I am not fine. Most of us don't even realize till the time we have reached our extremes where we need medications and much, we don't accept that we are facing different levels of depression. And it does not mean that you will need to go to a doctor always. At times, depression is simple, that you're coming from office, you just throw your bag and you don't want to talk to anybody. You just want to stay alone. You just don't want to open up. You just want to discuss anything with anybody. You just don't want to have food. These are the simple examples, basic levels where the people are depressed or they are feeling low and they need help. So start understanding from there and put a stop there itself. If you want, we are also doing these activities where people can just contact us and they can just vent out whatever they're feeling. I have kids in the same group who did this, who reached out to me, took out whatever they felt, and they're now much better. So as you've all understood how you can take out these things, you can go out for drive and all that. Now I would want Rahul to give his ideas on what it is all about. I know he'll be crisp. He doesn't speak as much as a woman does.
I've already had two women speaking. I believe I'll just keep it short because I think we're already pretty much late on time. It's 10:40. I'll just try to wrap up in the next 3 to 4 minutes. The ideas that I've got from Pragya and from Kirti, I'll just be maybe reiterating some of them because broadly they are the ones that we can think of to help ourselves in maintaining our mental health. So the few ideas that I've gotten from these two beautiful ladies are: first thing, stop acting normal. When was the last time you said, when someone asked you, how are you? Or kaise ho? 99% of the times you say, badhiya hai, I'm fine, I'm good. I think that's something that we need to stop. May not be to the entire world, but have those handful people in your lives with whom you can respond. I'm not well. Just handful, on a count of 2 or 3. I personally have something like around 6 people in my life whom I know at any point in time, if I am distressed, I'm not well, and I can't shout it out to the world, I call them and they put their phones on mute and just listen and just cut it off. Sometimes the calls have lasted almost 10 to 15 minutes where only me is the one who's speaking. That's how it helps. So it's okay. It's okay not to be normal sometimes with the people that you have chosen. Second thing, don't be locked up in the roles that you're playing. You could be a father, you could be a son, you could be an employee, you could be a boss, you could be whatever in different places. Always remember, these are masks that we wear in the different roles that we're playing. You need to take off the mask sometimes and just be yourself. It's okay. Even if you're a mother, it's time sometimes that you have to take off that role of mother that you're playing and be sane and act sane. It's okay. You can just let go of sometimes. That's where you'll get your opportunity to regain your sanity. One thing that I found is one of a lot of challenges that the millennials or the younger generation is facing is of feeling that they have relationships, they have the connections with people with looking at their social networking sites. Having 2,000 people on your Facebook or having so many followers in your public profile and looking at the beautiful lives of people, one thing that I've realized is, just to give you a statistic, Sushant had 1.8 million followers and not one person he could call and cry over. Imagine the things that you're chasing, the things that you're thinking that everyone's life is perfect. I believe till 1 hour before Sushant's death, very few people would have got an imagination that he's going to do something like that. Look at the post that he had a few weeks back. That's the kind that you're talking of how flawed our imagination or our definition of relationships or how our connect with the world is. We are far more connected. I see the generation of my family or my parents much more happier than what we are. Although the fact is that we are connected far more. Even today we are connected with someone from our schooling first standard, or we are talking about all those things. But where's the connect? Where are the conversations? We are connected but still lost in our own lonely world. And that's where you need to quit this. You need to quit the expectation of having this kind of a connect to seeing the world in a beautiful way. The reality is you need those 2 to 3 people that should do. Those 2 to 3 people, pure and true. That's all that you need, frankly speaking. I am on social media. I know the challenges that I see. I have my own times when I see I'm so connected, but there are times when nothing helps. Rather, it backfires because the social media is an illusion that we see. How many of you have posted that I've cried today on your Facebook profiles? How many of you have shared on your Facebook or on Twitter that I'm sad today? I doubt anyone. But haven't you been sad? Haven't you cried? But what do we think of the entire world when we see on Facebook? That their life is so good. They're so happy. They're so beautiful. They're so happy and everything is fine in their lives. That is not the reality, but that's what we need to understand. If you can understand from the other's perspective, why do you flaw in your own mind of what your life is and how you're expecting others' life to be? One simple thing that I think both Pragya and Kirti have stressed very hard is the fact that you got to express. You got to take it out. You got, I won't use the word vent it out because that's when we're talking of an extreme situation. But I would talk of the fact that you need to unwind yourself. You need to take out or express those things of whatever emotion that you're going through more often so that it doesn't just add up over time. I've always talked of an example of a balloon. You add a little water to the balloon, you add a little more. After a certain point, it bursts away. You have to empty it. You have to take it off consciously so that you are in control of the situation. Else you would be lost somewhere where you yourself won't be able to understand or not able to take the burden of that water in the balloon and you'll burst off. That's what you need to be in control of. by consciously emptying the garbage that is filling in. Because sometimes I completely agree that we are not in control of situations. We are not completely in control of what comes into us. But what you are in control is the reflection that you carry after a certain time. Yesterday I was hit bad. I responded. But today I can get the learning once I'm back to sanity and take it out of me rather than carrying the burden for a long time. And all we need to understand is we need to build this community. We need to understand that when we talk of relationships, we always talk who's there for me, who's done what for me, does someone has my back. But the question sometimes we need to ask in relationships is, whose back are you holding on? Who are you there for? Whom are you supporting? When we get the answer to this as negative, aren't we acting selfish? Aren't we the cause of the problems that we are facing in our own lives? Because unless, I'm not saying that you being a vegetarian, a lion won't eat you. All I'm saying is that you need to act in a certain way. You need to engage yourself. Somewhere, I believe I've always trusted the fact that karma will respond. When you are investing yourself, you are giving in yourself, that's where people will respond. Otherwise, it'll all be selfishness. It'll all be, what is it there for me? Who's giving for me? Who's standing up for me? And that needs to change to we. The definition of that definition has to change to we or you. And that's when we are overpowered to dealing with ourselves and being in sync with ourselves. So that's, I think, from my end for the session, from the beautiful learnings that I've got from Kirti. Thanks for taking up this invite and enlightening the people who are there on this platform. I know we have addressed a bigger crowd and a much larger crowds, but coming in, and we are honored that you have given the time here by coming to this platform and sharing your ideas. Thank you for that, Kirti.
Thank you. Thank you. I am honored. Thank you so much.
So with that, I'll give it back to Pragya. I think we can have everyone switching on their videos for a second. We'll take a photo and we'll share it with you all. Pragya, you have any?
We would just want everybody to share any emotion or anything which is coming to their mind after this session. Or if there's anything you, as Rahul said, if you don't want to vent out, if it's not at that level, you can please message me on my personal chat. I am already getting messages from few of the people over here, but if there's anybody else also who wants to type what they're feeling or anything, they can do it. We would love, me and Kirti would love to answer if there's anything we can help with. But please don't go home and sleep with 1,000 thoughts in your mind, and don't take this session as creating even more confusion, because that's not what we were here for. Try to take out things which you can sort out, and also maybe you can just take out. There are only two ways: either we sort things or we take them out. Don't keep them inside, because that's just going to kill you every single day. Some people don't commit suicide but live their entire lives in that phase of depression or loneliness, or just feeling that there's nobody around in this whole world. So we are there. I can even write down I'll write down my contact number here. So if anybody of you is going through any kind of stressful situation, please, you can call me, you can call Rahul anytime. We are always there for you. Just vent out. Even if you want us to just shut up and listen to you, I do that at times. I at times just tell Rahul, just keep your mouth shut. Don't give me explanations. Just listen to what I'm saying. I don't want your opinions and ideas and explanations over it.
Trust me, I'm sleeping
okay.
then.
So it's fine. Even if he's sleeping, at least I am able to take out whatever it is.
Anyways, guys, so it was a real honor that each one of you all were here. And you spent this 1 hour with us, and hopefully you're coming back every week, and we are honored with that. And hopefully you're taking back something that that can transform your life and help you in a little bit. And we are happy that each one of you all are coming here. We are honored with that. Can you switch on your videos for a second so that we can take the picture? Shanti? That's something that I think everyone needs. Shanti, can you switch on your video, please? Thank you. Thanks a lot, Shanti. I think that will bring Shanti to our club and everyone's life now. Shanti is, by the way, a Toastmaster whom I've known for the last 1.5 years now. And Sai Krishna, thanks for joining again. He's also, there are a lot of people who are Toastmasters here whom we have been in touch with, and we have worked together and learned a lot together. So, okay, with that, we'll have a photo, and we'll just like to close the session now. 1 second. Okay. Pragya, if you have that link for the feedback, you can share it here.
I'll just do that. Just give me 1 second. My internet got disconnected.
So just in the meantime, the Saturday session will be pretty much in sync with the thoughts we had today. So we will be sharing the poster maybe in a day or two, but somewhere it will be in sync with the ideas that we have built on today. You could be using that Saturday platform of Open Mic or Impromptu to share your story of how you have dealt with situations, or maybe just use it as Pragya said, went out because that other person is not here, and we are more than happy to listen to your perspective. So that's something that we do meet on Saturdays. Saturday nights are something which have got exciting for us now with the clubs off and the lockdown and the entire city in the curfew. I believe that's a beautiful time to meet all you beautiful people over here at 9:30 every Saturday. So that's become a great time for us to actually enjoy and have some really interesting perspectives, listening to you all, learning from you all. I believe I've already had so much of learning from each one of you all sitting here that this entire initiative has itself become a learning experience for me. Pragya, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there, but I am really sorry because of a power cut. My net is not working, Rahul.
No issues then, not a problem. In that case, I think
one more thing is I would just post the link of our WhatsApp group so that all the people who are not there, all the people who are not there can join in the group and post their feedbacks there as well.
You can, for the people who are not in the WhatsApp group, the Speak Up Club group that we have, because it's sometimes tough to individually send the invite to all of you all. We posted in the group there, and you can see the invite, you can share with your friends, and you can invite them to the sessions. Now that we have had such a heavy session this time, we'll see how, or the kind of idea that we can have next Tuesday, so that it can be more engaging and a little on the lighter note. Let's see what we can do for that. Okay, 1 second. Is anyone here not on the WhatsApp group? You can just ping me on my mobile number. I'm just chatting my mobile number here. You can just ping me on you can ping on this number and you'll be added to the group. This is Pragya's number. You can, if in case anyone of you all is not on the group yet. So rest all, it was a great session, had really fun, and some great insights from Kirti on such a sensitive topic, and something that I think each one of us have to learn about on this delicate topic, because this is not a trending thing. Yesterday, last week, we were talking about a baby elephant. Before that, we were talking about a tsunami, or we were talking of the cyclone. Let this not be a topic that's just trending for a certain time. This is something that each one of us need to be in control of, be in charge of, because this is something that drives our lives. As I've always told people, one simple thing: you do not live in this world. The entire world is what lies in your head. The reality that you create in your head of your perception and how you live with it is what the reality of the world is for you. And to close the session, I'll just share one beautiful, not a story, but this is something like a alleged experiment that Adolf Hitler did during the World War II with a lot of prisoners. And that beautifully sums up of how and why our mind is such a powerful weapon, you could say, or such a beautiful element that can make a difference to your life. It was alleged that Adolf Hitler passed on a few experiments while the World War II in which two prisoners were told that their veins will be cut and they will succumb to the injuries by the loss of blood. And somewhere in between, one person's vein was actually cut and the second person's vein wasn't cut, but just a scratch was done on his hand. Both lie there on a bed with the voice of a dripping blood. Drop, drop. What do you think happened to the person whose vein was not cut?
He died.
He died before the person whose vein was actually cut. That's the power of our mind. That's how powerful our mind is. Of it can create the world that lies within you. It can make this entire heaven, the world that we're living in. It can make it a heaven or it can make it hell. For Sushant, I believe it was made to hell, and that's where he succumbed and gave up on life. I would always wish that none of the persons who have been in touch with me ever come to a situation that extreme. Because we have just talked about things that you could do possibly before going on to that extreme. Because you don't have to wait for the bucket to be full to empty it. You empty the garbages every morning. Be in control of your buckets. And I think you could lead a beautiful life. With that, I would like to sign off for today. Thank you, Kirti, again for being here and sharing your immense insights. That was something
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Do share your feedback for the session on the WhatsApp group, and we'll soon be posting the pictures of the session on the WhatsApp group and the social media links. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful
Good night.
session. Good night.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Goodbye.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
Good night, Swapnil. Good night, Akansha. I hope that wasn't too heavy for you. The challenges that you still face, I believe you need not look at the bigger picture of life and all those things. I would just say one thing to you as a student, as a young student, always remember the world that you see of stress and pressure across, that's something which is created. That's a very small world that people create. So never ever succumb to that. And all I would all say, just keep talking. Because when you talk, you let it out and you are in charge of your life. Thanks, Nimish. Hopefully it was helpful.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Also, Akanksha, and I just got this question from few more people. We are not able to explain it to our spouses or our parents, is what I got the question as, of what we really want out of life or what we are expecting from them and all, or what they're expecting from us is not what we can do. So it's quite simple. There are two ways to it. Either you stop taking it in your head. If you can do it, do it. If you feel that this is something which is breaking you out, don't do it. Because you're the only one who's questionable and answerable to yourself. If it comes to relations which really, really matter to you and you want them to be better, if you want them to be better, open up to them. Go, shout, fight, do whatever. But explain it to them of why this relationship is getting broken. What is it that you want to make it better? Always keep this point. Whenever you are facing a relationship which is giving you depression or stress, go talk to them and tell them that you want to make it better. But this is what I am expecting out of it. Because it's always important to put your side. So I hope the people who asked me this question, they've got the answer. Sometimes these fights, these thunders are important to level up the floor, which we need to build the whole house. If there's too much garbage there, it will take too long for you to even think whether you want to build that beautiful house at this place or not. But once it's a bare ground, you would love it and start anew.
Akash, go ahead. You have some question?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Akash.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to say people who are mentally weak, they are very much scared. So if you tell them to go to a counselor or to talk, to go to anybody, they won't. They will hide their problem, like they're not mentally strong. That's why they are like that. The person who is mentally strong, if you tell him to go to a psychiatrist or anybody, he will not be scared. In the case of Yashadi, the actor died. He is not mentally strong. The problem is people should be taught like they should not fear. They are very much in fear of what others will think. They are like what will she think or what will he think if I'm not speaking properly or anything. They are very much scared. The problem is when a person is mentally very strong, uh, there is no need of anything. My basic point to my basic main reason behind telling all of this is uh, one should become mentally strong. He should read books. He should engage himself into some activity. For example, in case of Shah Rukh Khan, his parents died when he was too young, but he concentrated on his work. He was so mentally strong. So, in spite of so many bigger problems, he overcome all of it, and he has reached this level today.
Yeah, Akash, your point is good, Akash, and I really appreciate that you thought so much about it. But there's one more viewpoint which I would want to put up front for this. At times, it's not about whether people are mentally strong or not. It also matters whether they are socially, emotionally, situationally strong or not. Nobody, how much ever weak mentally that person is, would never go to a state of killing their own life. I mean, you
Exactly.
just imagine you how much ever bad situation you are in, hold a knife in your hand. How much courage it will take from this knife from here to go here. This whole force which is forced on this hand, which takes it here, is not from your mind. Your mind is quite smart. It will always keep you away from your fears. It will never let that knife practically come to you to kill you. But the whole force which is applied to this hand is by the situations, by the emotions, and by the people around you, which create that force, not giving you an option to think about anything over and above that.
Akash,
That's one more aspect.
one thing that I've realized here is again, when you talk of Sushant's case or how strong Shah Rukh has become, we are frankly speaking not aware of their ground realities. You don't know, forget about news articles or what the world is saying at this point in time. For someone who's been in distress, for someone who's been in such a level of depression, we don't know the facts and figures. And to a large extent, the world will never know. Even the closest of people never know. If someone, like, if today we are talking of the people who are close to Sushant talking about all these things, uh, and still they could not stop it. So I won't talk about much about what situation, how it has evolved. But what I would say, yes, the point that you said is that how do we build our mental strength? The mental strength, I feel, is built by the
Yeah.
fact that you need to focus on constantly developing yourself. You need to understand perspectives of how you look at the situations in the world. Like a lot of people, like Kirti already mentioned, the situation of just the fear in your mind that you have got COVID-19, of how you're responding to it. These are situations, sometimes they are bombarded and we are completely unaware of how we'll be reacting to it. So I'm not justifying anything, or I'm not rationalizing that this is right or that is right. All I'm saying is there will be situations, and we, as when we're young, we need to understand, and we need to start building this thought process in our young ones. So when I see my young 6-year-old today, not only while I clap when he is winning, I let him sit down when he's failing. I let him talk about it. I let him express that. That's where an acceptance comes in of even situations where we are failing, or even situations like today when my son talks about corona and he talks about not going outside, you might catch corona and all those things. It's about we letting them be, rather than just always creating a comfortable environment or creating a situation where they are not unaware of the realities of the life. A lot of people today face these challenges, the millennials as they call, the challenges that they're facing is that they are not aware of failures in life. So as soon as they go to the real world, they have to face the failures. You cannot be creating an artificial world like you have been doing for 21 years, 25 years, and expecting the world will be behaving in that way. As parenting, one of the major factors today is this, that you have to let your children fail, let them experience failure, and they will learn from that. And that's how
One
they'll
more
be
thing,
ready for their
Akash.
life. Go ahead, Pragya.
One more thing which I would want to share with you is, as you said, that there are people who are weak and that's why they don't want to go to psychologist, and the people who are strong can go. I mean, they normally accept to go, but I'll tell you, this is the other way around. The people who are weak show these expressions and emotions so early, people can find out that they are being closed in their walls, or they are staying away from people, and they're not going out with friends. Whereas a person like me, who is always extremely confident outward, and I was an extrovert. For me, accepting it that I'm going through a phase of depression and I would need a psychologist or a psychiatrist for this, it was a big disaster. I was not ready to accept it for 2 years that I did need it. No, I'm strong. I'm such a strong-minded person. How can I need it? So it's rather the other way around. The people who know that they're emotionally weak show the symptoms and the behaviors much earlier, and they are much more easily traceable than people who are strong in mind, because they don't accept it. They don't want to accept the reality, challenges, the feelings they
Akash,
are facing. And then they will not show it. Even if they know, they will not be ready to show it to satisfy their ego of confidence.
Akash, let me just disclose this to you. I've been a motivational speaker for the last 15 years now, almost 14, 15 years. And the fact that, would you imagine I've gone to a psychiatrist, and not long time ago, while we were there together as a speech crafter last year, June, I was in a situation because the world isn't aware of how we can project ourselves. None of the people while I was delivering a speech knew that I was under medication for depression. And that's how it is. I'm strong. I need not project or announce to the world. And sometimes that acts as a backfiring or limitation to my own acceptance of the fact that I need help. But I did. I went on, I talked to my wife, I talked to the few close people, and somewhere the kind of talk therapy helped, and somewhere after that, a little bit of a medication helped. It's just that I was okay with it. But the biggest challenge that we face is, for me, for my spouse, or my limited family, it's okay to accept. We are okay. If you're going to a psychiatric hospital, specifically a hospital where not a department or a cabin in a big hospital, if I'm going to a psychiatric hospital, I'm okay with it. But the taboo which is associated to the entire society and the way they look at it, and the normal word, it's not going to a psychologist. Pagal hai kya?
Yeah,
That's what comes up. That's you have to overcome that and build your own ecosystem. You have to build your own ecosystem. There are times when even my parents or my cousins have not known of what I've gone through, and still, because I have my ecosystem clear and someone where I can bank upon, that's what you have to build. It could be your sister, it could be a close-knit family. That's what you need to build, that confidence and build that trust in your system. Forget about the world. This is a system that you need to build for yourself, and each one being interdependent on each other. So that's where that closed system which is there, you need to build that to find a solution, and that calm which is required, because tremors or problems will always keep coming in. But you have to have that system where you can be in sync with them and dissolve. And there will always be situations which might feel. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Akash.
No, your voice is breaking.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just done with that now. Yeah. So all I'm saying is that you have to build your ecosystem. That's what is the most important thing. Because sometimes, whatever position you are in, whatever role that you are in, I could have the biggest barrier for myself that I am a motivational speaker. I have so many positive thoughts. I've trained so many people. I've counseled so many people. That can become my biggest barrier. But the fact is, I've not that role. I've not let that role take over me and say that I can't do it, that I can't have this problem, that I'm a human enough. So that's what I'm saying. You need to understand that you have to build that ecosystem and get out of your roles and take off those masks which you're wearing sometimes. That is all I would say to you, Akash. Yeah.
Yeah, one last. I
Go
think
ahead.
so. I'm taking much longer time. In this
Yeah.
period of, yeah, I think
Go
so.
ahead.
It's late.
Go ahead. No issues, Akash.
Like the current situation. Look at the COVID-19 situation. All over, like you talk to anybody about the business is down. They're in recession period. Everything. But there are people who are earning money at this point of time also, like
Yes.
big players, Mukesh
Yes,
Ambani and all. Yeah. So like when they are able to make it big, even have brains. Why cannot I? Even I want to do something, but I'm not finding the way or the part, or I want to do something like.
Akash, yeah, go ahead, Pragya.
One thing, Akash, that this is something which will demotivate you more, that when they are able to earn, why can't I? Because they have built their whole system when there was no COVID. They have backups, they have ideas, they have the whole money to buy, oil banks and all those things, which we don't have. So where we are starting is from zero. Now, why you are not able to do is because first you need to understand what is that particular thing which you can do now. For simple example, there were people who saw things coming. They bought these PPE kits and all these things in advance. They knew that this is something which will make money, and now they are selling it at 4 times prices. So that's the only thing, that we need to understand what is it that is going to work now and later. If you are able to find that one thing, people literally bought masks for like 2 rupees and they sold it for 30 rupees, 50 rupees and whatnot. So you can imagine the profits they were making. So it's just that what we need to do whenever we want to earn money or whenever we want to start something which will help us later on, is to understand what is something which will help me now, and is it something which is capitalizable when maybe after 2 years or 3 years. So if suddenly somebody comes up with a vaccine, and if I have a stock full of masks, will I really be able to sell it at this price? Will I be able to take return on my investment on that? No. So don't go for things what they are doing now. What Ambanis have done is they have created their wealth over years to back up, even if they go into losses. So even if he loses one of his oil banks, he will not be depressed because he has so many other stuff to back up that particular thing. Whereas what we think is that I should have that one thing which I can do right now and earn money out of it. That's the whole confusion where this thing happens. So make something which you can capitalize after 5 years, 10 years, 15 years too. Right?
Okay, Akash, I think we can take this offline. We're pretty late now.
Sure. Yeah.
Thanks for the questions anyways. There was some really insightful questions, and I think hopefully we were able to answer those to you. And thanks for coming. We are happy that you and Khushi both are joining in the sessions, and so good to see you all always being there for us. Thank you.
Thanks, Ansh, and thanks, Mr. Naresh, for joining in today. I hope you will be attending our future sessions too. And in case you don't have our WhatsApp group detail, I have posted my number, which is 9.
I've already posted the link. I've already posted the link of the WhatsApp group here.
Okay. In case you want to talk about something, then also you can message on this number. We are always here.
Okay, then everyone, have a good night, and hopefully sound sleep tonight with a few inputs that we have given. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you very much. Bye.